Jessica and her little daughter Amelia were like shadows, quiet, unnoticed, and always moving. They had no house to call their own. From one compound to another, they cleaned floors, scrubbed toilets, washed clothes, and picked up garbage just to earn something small to eat. Amelia was only 6, but her hands were already as rough as an old woman's. While other children carried backpacks and lunchboxes to school, Amelia carried a dirty rag and a rusty bucket. Innocent Stories brings you a tale of resilience that will tug at your heartstrings. Can a little girl's dream survive the cruelty of the world? Every morning, as they cleaned another rich man's veranda, children would walk past and throw insults like stones. Cleaner girl. Here, take this sweet. Your mama too poor to buy it for you. She looks like someone born inside a dustbin. Some even laughed, covering their noses as if Amelia stank like the gutters they passed on their way to school. Amelia would sometimes force a smile, sometimes frown so hard her little face looked like squeezed paper. But on the worst days, she would cry until her tears mixed with the soapy water she was using to scrub the floor. One day, after a long cleaning job under the hot sun, Amelia sat beside her mother under a mango tree. She looked up at Jessica with her big, sad eyes and asked, "Mommy, will I ever go to school like those children?" Jessica's heart squeezed. She pulled Amelia close and brushed her dusty hair. "My baby, I wish I had the power," she whispered. "I want you to be a doctor, wear a white coat, treat people, be respected." But Amelia shook her head quickly. "No, Mommy. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to study money in school and become a billionaire. Then I'll build you a house with 10 toilets." Jessica burst out laughing, even though her eyes were watery. "Study money? Oh wow, my daughter wants to go to Money University." She hugged Amelia tighter and added, "Just pray for me, and one day I'll save enough to send you to that billionaire school." Stay tuned to Innocent Stories. What secret is Jessica hiding in her ragged tin? You won't believe what this mother sacrifices for her daughter's dream. What Amelia didn't know was that every time Jessica got paid, even if it was just $2,000 or the price of one chicken leg, she would quietly drop a small note inside a ragged tin hidden in her bag. That tin was labeled with shaky handwriting, "Amelia's school money." She didn't eat well. She didn't buy clothes, but she kept saving. Even though they were poor, dirty, and mocked every day, Jessica held on to hope like a drowning woman holding on to a tiny stick in the ocean. She always told Amelia, "Our story might start from the gutter, but it doesn't end there. One day, people who used to throw sweets at you will beg you for help." Amelia would giggle, showing her missing front tooth. "I will not give them sweets back. I will give them broom and bucket," she said, her face full of childish pride. Jessica laughed until her stomach hurt. Even though deep down, she was scared of what life still had in store. Because in this world, when you're poor and powerless, even your dreams can be stolen right in front of your eyes. Jessica decided to be hard on herself. She didn't stop with just cleaning houses. No, life was too stubborn to allow rest. Whenever she had a break, if you could call 2 hours under the hot sun a break, she'd pick up a tray of bread, sachet water, or fruits and begin hawking. Sometimes oranges, sometimes bananas. It all depended on which one could bring her 10 extra naira. Amelia, her little helper with tired eyes and cracked heels, would carry her own tiny tray of groundnuts. People would see her and say, "Ah, this small girl too hustle." Even grown-ups no serious like her. But not everyone was nice. Some rich and kind-hearted ones would smile at them and say, "Keep the change. Buy yourself something nice," or give them leftover food like rice and chicken bones they couldn't finish. Jessica would smile with gratitude, like she just received a check. And Amelia would shout with joy, "Mommy, they gave us meat today." But then there were the angry ones. Oh, the ones who wore expensive clothes but carried poverty in their attitude. They would shout at Jessica as if she stole their joy. "Go away. You're blocking my car. Why are you begging? Do I look like your husband? Nonsense. You're teaching your daughter how to suffer early." Sometimes they wouldn't even talk. They'd just hiss, push Amelia's tray aside, and walk away like queens of bitterness. Jessica would bow her head and walk away, gripping her daughter's hand, trying not to cry in front of her. One day, Amelia looked up and asked her again, "Mommy, why are some people so angry? Did we offend them?" Jessica chuckled bitterly. "No, my child. Some people were born angry. If they smile too much, their face might break." Amelia laughed. Even in pain, her laughter was like music. But Jessica knew deep in her heart this was not the life she wanted for her daughter. Every time they returned home from hawking with dirty feet, empty trays, and sunburned skin, Jessica would open her ragged tin and drop in one or two dirty notes. "It's small," she would whisper. "But one day it'll be enough for Amelia's school bag." And Amelia, she would lie down beside her mother at night and whisper her prayer. "Dear God, if you have a big notebook in heaven, please write my name among billionaires. Don't forget to add Mummy, too." Even the stars above would seem to listen. But life wasn't done with them yet. One bright morning, Jessica and Amelia had just finished hawking bananas the evening before. They hadn't eaten properly, but as usual, Jessica showed up early at one of the billionaires' mansions where she scrubbed bathrooms so shiny you could almost see your future in the tiles. As she entered the massive guest bathroom, she smiled faintly. Not because she was happy, but because smiling helped her forget the hunger burning in her belly. With a bucket of foamy water and a short brush in hand, she knelt and began scrubbing like always. But this time, something felt wrong. Her legs were numb, her back screamed in pain, and her hands trembled. Still, she continued until it happened. Her legs slipped on the wet floor, and with a loud thud, she fell hard. So hard the brush flew out of her hand. "Ah!" she screamed. Within seconds, the billionaire's wife, Mrs. Vanessa, stormed in, wearing a silk robe, sunglasses, and an attitude larger than her mansion. "What is that noise?" she snapped like a snake. "Why are you screaming like someone gave birth to triplets here?" Jessica, still on the floor, held her leg and winced in pain. "Please, Ma, I slipped. My legs. I just need to stretch it. It hurts," she pleaded, her voice shaking. But Mrs. Vanessa scoffed. "Stretch what? Stretch laziness. Will you get up and finish the work, you useless being? If you don't want the job, leave." Jessica burst into tears. She tried to move, but her legs said no with a sharp jolt of pain. She looked up and whispered, "Please, I beg you. Just 10 minutes. I'm not lazy, I swear." "My legs," but Mrs. Vanessa had already turned her back and walked away, muttering, "These poor people always acting like they're made of glass." Amelia, who was waiting outside with their cleaning bag, heard her mother's cry and rushed in. When she saw her mother lying on the floor, she didn't even ask questions. She quietly picked up the brush and entered the bathroom. "Mommy, rest. I will finish it," she said. That was the day everything changed. Jessica's leg never healed properly. Day after day, she tried to stand. Some days it worked. Most days, it didn't. The pain was sharp and cruel. Eventually, the job stopped coming. People didn't want a cleaner who limped like a tired goat. They were forced out of the boys' quarters they once squatted in. Jessica and Amelia moved into an old abandoned shed at the outskirts of the estate. A place so forgotten even the rats looked homeless. The shed had no door, no window, and no bed. Just a broken bench, empty tins, and cold air that bit their skin at night. Amelia became the adult overnight. She began taking on more cleaning jobs. She hawked with both hands full. She begged for leftover fruits at the market. All while taking her mother from one herbalist to another, one chemist to another, hoping for a miracle. Every coin she got, she split into two. One for food, one for treating her mother's leg. Jessica would cry at night when Amelia was asleep. "God," she whispered. "If you want to punish me, fine, but leave this child out of it. She's too small for this kind of suffering." But life didn't hear. Or maybe it did and just didn't care. Still, Amelia never stopped fighting because one voice kept shouting louder than the hunger, louder than the insults, louder than the pain, "You must survive. You must rise. You must protect your mother, *" And so she did. By 13, Amelia was no longer just a little girl with a tray on her head. She had become a full-grown professional cleaner. Not by age, but by life's wicked training. Every morning, she would tie her scarf, carry her mother's old mop and worn-out bucket, and walk back to the same mansions where Jessica used to clean before her leg gave up. She didn't complain. She didn't cry. She just worked. She scrubbed the same tiles that once injured her mother. She swept the same stairs that carried expensive shoes. She washed toilets that smelled rich. But Amelia wasn't just cleaning floors. She was searching. After every cleaning session, she'd go through the trash carefully, not for food, but for knowledge: torn exercise books, used-up textbooks, broken pens with half-dried ink. She gathered them all like treasures from a trash kingdom. Some of the mansion kids would see her digging through the bins and burst into laughter. "Cleaner girl, you want to become professor from dustbin? What's the point of reading expired books when your expired mother couldn't even afford your school bag?" Some even snatched the books from her hand. "Yuck! I can't let my torn notebook touch your poverty. I'd rather burn it than let you use it." They mocked her, hissed at her. Some would even cover their noses when she walked past, like she was made of garbage. Amelia didn't fight back. She didn't talk. She just bent, picked up another torn page, and whispered to herself, "Laugh now. I'll laugh last." She would return to the abandoned shed every day, her legs sore and her hands blackened with dust. But once she ensured her mother had eaten and was resting well, she'd sit outside with her collection of treasure trash books. Even when the letters were faded and the pages were torn, she would still read them, pressing each page down like it was made of gold. Her mother, Jessica, sometimes grumbled from the corner of the shed, "This you're reading, CF. It won't cook food or fix my leg. Why are you wasting your eyes on what will never pay us?" Amelia would look at her, smile, and say, "Don't give up on life, Mama. Life is cooking something sweet for us. We just can't smell it yet." Jessica would laugh tiredly. "I just hope life didn't forget to add salt and pepper," and both of them would burst into laughter, even with empty stomachs and torn clothes. They had nothing. But somehow their laughter was richer than the gold-plated spoons in the houses Amelia cleaned. And in the midst of all that pain, Amelia kept telling herself, "One day, all these pages will come together and tell a story that will shock the world." Innocent Stories asks, can Amelia's torn pages lead her to a brighter future, or will tragedy strike again? Keep watching to find out. One fateful afternoon, the sun was madly hot, like it was fighting everybody. Amelia had her tray of sachet water balanced on her small head as she walked past a school near the estate. The school gate was wide open. The children inside were wearing neat uniforms, white and green, with shining black shoes and socks that didn't have holes like hers. She slowed down. Something was calling her from inside. Voices. She tiptoed closer, then stood behind one of the classroom windows. A teacher was teaching. For the first time in her life, Amelia heard the sound of a teacher's voice. Not on TV, not in a dream. Live and direct. The woman in front was writing on the board, economics topic, the importance of scarcity. Amelia didn't know what scarcity meant before, but now she stood there, mouth slightly open, listening like her life depended on it. She forgot about the sachet water on her head. She forgot the sun. She forgot the children that once mocked her. She listened with her whole soul. That day, she didn't sell much, and she didn't care. As soon as she got home, she threw down the tray, greeted her mother quickly, and rushed to the corner of the shed where she kept her torn, faded textbooks. She searched like a mad professor until she saw it: economics, scarcity. Her eyes widened, her heart beat faster. She started reading, murmuring every line like it was music. And then she laughed. She laughed so loud the old shed echoed it back. She laughed like someone who just discovered she could fly. Jessica, half asleep, jumped from the mat in shock. "Amelia!" No response. "Amelia!" Still laughing. "Amelia, how many times did I call you?" Amelia, still holding the textbook, turned around, her eyes shining with joy. "3 times, Mama." Jessica looked at her suspiciously. Okay. How many fingers did I separate from the rest? She raised her hand, 4 fingers up. Amelia paused, looked, then burst into another round of deep laughter before saying, 4 fingers, Mama. Jessica placed her hands on her chest and breathed out. I thought village witches finally located you. Why are you laughing alone with torn book like that? Amelia grinned from ear to ear. Mama, I'm not mad. I'm just happy. Today, I stayed behind a classroom. I listened to a teacher. And guess what? She was teaching the same topic I saw in this book. I understood it, Mama. Me, Amelia, the cleaner girl. Jessica sat down slowly and looked at her daughter. You mean what you're reading is actually the same thing those rich kids are learning? Yes, Mama. It means I'm not wasting my time. It works. This book works. I'm learning. Jessica stared at her daughter, half scared, half proud, completely speechless. Then, with a tired smile, she said, Oh, yeah. Continue reading before this your joy expires. But no more laughing like village spirits, you hear? And Amelia, she went back to reading, smiling, believing, dreaming. Because for the first time, she knew her future was not just possible. It had already begun. A few weeks later, it was a hot Saturday. Amelia had just finished scrubbing tiles and mopping glass tables in one of the billionaire mansions. As usual, she didn't ask for food, just quietly stepped into the backyard, the trash can, her treasure box, her own school library. She bent down, digging through cartons and plastic bags with her small, rough hands. Her eyes lit up when she found an old civic education textbook, torn but readable. She smiled. Another jackpot. Just then, a whisper. She froze. She turned slowly and saw them, about 10 rich kids dressed in flashy weekend clothes, some holding sticks, some holding plastic water guns, all holding wicked intentions. Their leader, Queenette, the one with a loud mouth and expensive perfume, stepped forward. Today we are stopping you, she shouted like a soldier. You think you're smart? Learning for free what our parents pay millions for. Tu fiacqua? Not again. The others clapped and laughed. Let's go burn the one she already stole, Queenette added. Yes, let's go there. They chorused like evil backup singers. Amelia's eyes widened, her heart beat like a drum. No, please don't take it away from me. I promise not to pick new ones, but please don't touch the ones I've already packed. She dropped the textbook and ran like thunder, faster than fear, her feet kicking up dust. She had to get there first. She had to protect her dream. She had to protect her mother. Tears were already falling as she reached the little shed at the edge of the estate, her home. The shed didn't even have a door. It was just pieces of wood and metal patched together. She burst inside, panting, crying, shaking. Jessica, still weak on her mat, slowly sat up. Amelia, what happened? But Amelia could barely talk. The rich girls, they're coming. They want to burn all my books, my future, my everything. Jessica's face turned pale. Before she could respond, they entered, the so-called princesses of the estate. They paused for a moment, shocked at the sight. Books. Dozens of torn, dirty, stained books neatly arranged in piles. Old notebooks, broken pens, bent rulers. It looked like a junkyard school. Queenette's face twisted in anger. You even packed this much? You're mad. Without warning, she brought out a lighter and struck a flame. Amelia screamed, No, don't. Please. Too late. She lit one page on fire. The fire kissed the paper like it had been waiting. The paper caught fire. The fire kissed another book, then another, then the wooden wall. Before anyone could blink, the whole shed was on fire. The heat chased the laughter out of their mouths. The girls ran, dropping sticks and water guns, running like scared rats. But Amelia stood there, frozen, screaming. The fire was crawling toward her mother's mat. Amelia turned and sprinted to the nearby mechanic shop. Help me, Please. Fire. My mama is inside. The mechanics dropped their tools and followed her back. By the time they got there, the shed was halfway gone, but they didn't give up. One of the men jumped in and pulled Jessica out, burnt in some places, her clothes partly charred, but still breathing, barely. She was unconscious. Amelia dropped to her knees beside her mother, her books gone, her library ashes, her mother half burnt and dying. Her dreams? Only God could speak on that now. But as Amelia cried, clutching her mother's hand, only one thing kept repeating in her broken heart: Mommy, please don't die. Live long to see my dream come true. Innocent Stories wants you to brace yourself. Will Amelia lose everything, or is this the spark that ignites her rise? Don't miss what happens next. The shed was gone, ashes, but Jessica was still alive, burnt, weak, unconscious, but breathing. Thanks to the kind-hearted mechanic and a few others who rushed in to help, they wrapped her in old clothes and carried her gently to the community health center, the only one close by. Though the clinic looked tired and underfunded, the nurses tried their best. Jessica was laid on a metal bed, for drips connected to her weak body, her face pale but peaceful. Amelia refused to eat, refused to sleep. She sat by the bed, her small hands gripping her mother's burnt fingers. On the second day, something caught her eye. A small TV fixed on the wall in the reception area. Fuzzy image, low volume, but something magical appeared. It was a children's competition advert. A moderator stood on a colorful stage asking questions. Children were answering joyfully, laughing, some getting it wrong, some getting it right. Then came the line that made Amelia sit up like she had been shocked: the overall winner goes home with a full scholarship. Her heart beat faster. Her legs moved on their own. She ran to the doctor's office and knocked hard. "Come in," he said softly, sipping from his mug. Amelia burst in, her eyes red and hopeful. "That advertisement on the TV, the one with the quiz, is it true?" The doctor blinked, confused. He paused, then gave a small nod. "Yes, it's real. It happens twice a year." Amelia knelt down immediately, her hands joined in prayer. "Please help me, doctor. I want to go for it. Please." The doctor's heart melted at the sight. He smiled gently, tilting his head. "Which school do you attend?" That one question broke something inside Amelia. Her mouth opened, but the words refused to come. I, she stammered, then turned and ran back to her mother's ward. The doctor froze in his chair. His smile disappeared. He looked at the door where she disappeared through, then whispered to himself, "Did I ask the wrong question?" He sat back, staring at his cold coffee, guilt creeping in. Because for the first time, he saw clearly. She didn't go to school, yet she knew enough to ask, to dream, to want. And the only thing standing between her and the stage was help. That night, the doctor couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, Amelia's kneeling image flashed in his mind. That small voice, those tears, and how she ran away just because of one innocent question: "Which school do you attend?" He turned in bed. God, why did I ask that? What school? It seems the girl has never been in school. Early the next morning, he walked into the clinic, ice puffy. He stopped beside Amelia in the ward. She was sleeping on the cold hospital floor with a book as a pillow, one burnt, half-torn textbook she had managed to save from the fire. Her mother, still unconscious, machines beeping slowly. The doctor sighed. This girl, what does she really want? She doesn't want pity. She just wants a chance. That was when he made a decision. He bent gently and woke her up. Amelia. She jumped up. Is Mama okay? Yes, he nodded. But you're coming with me today. She blinked. To where? He smiled. To learn how to win. Later that day, the doctor took Amelia to his cousin, a retired schoolteacher who lived in a quiet compound with a small blackboard and piles of old lesson notes. When the teacher saw Amelia, she frowned. This one? No shoes, no bag, no uniform. You want me to teach her for free? The doctor smiled. Her brain doesn't need shoes. The woman scoffed. We shall see. They gave Amelia chalk. Spell economics, the woman asked. Amelia took a deep breath, smiled, and spelled it right, then gave the definition too. The teacher raised her brows. You sabi book like this, and you're not in school? Amelia looked down. Because life didn't register me yet, ma. The woman burst into laughter. This one get mouth die. For the next few days, Amelia read like her life depended on it. Every night, she would return to the hospital to sleep beside her mother. Every morning, she would go to the teacher's place. Her only food, dairy, water, sometimes banana if she was lucky. But she didn't care. She was preparing for something big. 2 weeks later, the day came. The quiz competition was to be held at the City Hall, live on TV. Hundreds of smart, well-dressed children gathered, each one with their parents cheering them on. And then there was Amelia, wearing an oversized dress the nurse donated, with borrowed sandals 2 sizes too big, carrying a nylon bag instead of a backpack. Other parents whispered, "Who brought the street girl here? Is this the cleaner's daughter? She must be lost." Amelia ignored them. Her eyes were fixed on the stage. Because she didn't come to look good, she came to win. The hall was packed, cameras rolling, lights shining, reporters whispering, children in suits and sparkling dresses sat in rows holding branded water and notebooks. Parents with sunglasses and pride sat beside them. Then came the announcer's voice, "Contestants, get ready for the first round." One by one, names were called. Michael Okoye, Brilliant Scholars Academy. Tomua Gold, the Royal Brain School. Chelsea Mumba, Green Ivy International. Amelia. The announcer paused. Just Amelia. People laughed. One boy muttered, "No surname? No school name? Is she representing the streets?" Another said, "She better not faint when they ask her questions." Amelia took her seat quietly. The buzzer went off. First question, what is the difference between wants and needs? Michael pressed. Wants are things you wish to have. Needs are things you must have to survive. Correct. The questions rolled in fast. Maths, English, current affairs, science. Amelia didn't just answer them. She explained them. She broke them down. At one point, she even corrected a poorly worded question, and the hall gasped. The judges looked at each other. One whispered, "Where has this girl been hiding?" Another said, "She's not hiding. She's surviving." Final round. Tiebreaker. It was between Amelia and the top scorer of last year, Chelsea. What is the law of diminishing marginal utility? Chelsea blinked. Amelia smiled. She stood up. No panic. No stammer. It states that the more you consume a product, the less satisfaction you get from each additional unit. For example, if I drink 1 sachet water, I enjoy it. The second one, a bit less. By the 5th, I may even hate it. The whole crowd was stunned. Silence. Then thunderous applause. The judges stood. One judge even clapped with tears in his eyes. The moderator raised Amelia's hand. And the winner is Amelia. Reporters rushed. Cameras flashed. A woman screamed, "Who is her sponsor? Who is her teacher?" The doctor, standing by the door, quietly wiped his eyes. That evening, it was all over the news, unknown orphan girl wins national scholarship competition. No school, no shoes, just brain. Miracle girl shocks the nation. Sponsors called. An elite girls' school offered her a full scholarship till university. Book companies promised her free supplies for life. And the best part? They asked her, "What do you want to become?" She smiled with tears. "A billionaire, so I can give girls like me what I never had." Back at the clinic, her mother, Jessica, was awake, watching the TV in disbelief. Is that not Amelia? The nurse smiled. Your daughter didn't go to school to read books. She read the world. Jessica covered her mouth, crying. My daughter, my Amelia. Days later, in the tall, glass-paneled government building tucked behind security doors and busy corridors, Professor Raymond George, the Minister for Education, sat in his office, flipping through files. His glasses rested halfway down his nose. The afternoon sun cast a quiet glow on the room. Just then, his personal assistant, Mr. Felix, entered holding a folded newspaper. Sir, this orphan girl, Amelia, she's trending everywhere. People are tagging the ministry online. Some are even demanding that the government should add something to her scholarship cart. Professor Raymond casually took the newspaper without much interest until his eyes landed on her picture. Amelia, big brown eyes, bright innocent smile, a spark of brilliance in her eyes. His hand froze. His heartbeat shifted. The paper shook slightly in his grip. Felix noticed. Sir, are you okay? Do you know the girl? No answer. Professor Raymond gently placed the newspaper down. That will be all for now, he said coldly. Felix hesitated but walked out. That evening, the professor canceled all meetings. His office lights were still on when most other ministries had shut down. He sat behind his desk, hands clasped tightly, deep in thought. But it wasn't the usual kind of thought. It was the kind that keeps your chest heavy and your sleep far away. He stared at Amelia's face again in the newspaper. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. Just silence and restlessness. So many questions. Too many to answer and none of them out loud. Later that night, after everyone had left the building, he picked up his secure line. I want a quiet background check done on a girl named Amelia. No noise, no press. Just find out everything. Age, location, guardian, background, everything. He dropped the phone and sat there still, surrounded by silence and questions. Too many questions. Amelia sat beside her mother's hospital bed, their hands gently locked. The room was filled with soft giggles and silent prayers of gratitude. For once, after years of battling pain, poverty, and mockery, hope finally found their doorstep. Just then, the door creaked open. A nurse stepped in, followed by 2 well-dressed officials and 4 security agents in uniform. Their presence filled the small ward with tension. Jessica's heart began to pound as she tightened her grip on Amelia's hand, but Amelia's face remained calm, peaceful, ready. Then the tall man in a neat-ash suit stepped forward. Are you Amelia, the girl in the news? He asked with a gentle, commanding tone. Amelia smiled warmly and stood. Yes, sir, and this is my mother. The man nodded, now speaking with clear authority. My name is Professor Raymond George, the Minister for Education. Jessica gasped. Her fingers trembled, her eyes widened. But before she could speak, the minister continued, We're here with a special gift from the government in honor of your brilliance and resilience. But first, we need your full name for documentation. Jessica's heart nearly stopped. Amelia turned slightly to her mother, confused yet soft. Mom, I think my full name should be Amelia Jessica, she said with a shy chuckle. But Jessica couldn't respond. She clutched her chest as tears gathered in her eyes. Then her voice cracked as she burst into tears. Years of silence, buried pain, and forgotten truths started clawing their way back to the surface. Innocent Stories brings you an emotional roller coaster. What secrets is Jessica hiding? Who is Professor Raymond, and why is he so shaken by Amelia's picture? Don't miss episode 2 for shocking revelations, Hello, besties. What a touching and powerful episode we've just experienced on Innocent Stories. Let's take a moment to reflect. Moral lessons: never look down on anyone. Greatness can rise from anywhere. Every child deserves a chance, no matter their background. Education is a powerful tool, and passion can break every barrier. Always stand up for what you love, even when the world is against you. If you're inspired by Amelia's courage, please don't forget to like, comment, share your favorite part or in your language, subscribe to Innocent Stories, and share with someone who needs this story. I love you all, and God bless you richly. Watch out for episode 2 on innocent stories. It's going to be even more emotional and full of surprises. Who is Amelia's father? Stay tuned, besties.